Hey guys, and welcome back to Culture Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe. And this week, we're reviewing some more anime.
Yeah, anime. We're reviewing some anime. There we go, that's a new theme tune. There we go, hope you guys like it. It's staying. It's not staying.
It's not. It's a one-off.
Yeah, it's definitely a one-off. It's definitely not. Continue. How are you, Nathan? Are you well?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad. Ranking of Kings, though.
Yeah.
It's been on our list for a while now.
Oh my god, it's been on our list for a long ass time.
Yes, it's I didn't realize. I was just looking at some, like, Nathan sends me notes about like animes and stuff when we record. I didn't realize that this was like from 2021.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that far back.
I didn't think so either. It feels like it's been like quite constant in a way. It's always like been on my mind, like, oh cool, I need to watch that series, and it's one of those ones that everyone goes crazy over as well. And I think ages ago we were like, oh, we should watch this, and he was like, yeah, we'll put it on our list or whatever to watch, and then we just never really got around to it. There was like always like, oh, we want to do this episode, or let's do this episode, and Ranking of Kings was just never up there like as a priority for us at all.
Yeah, I don't know why it always got pushed back, considering we were both like, yeah, we should watch that.
Yeah, and it's been, like we said, years. Even like season 2 dropped in like 2023.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the funniest thing is I feel like it's only been on our list maybe a year and a half, two at most, though.
I think that you're right. I think season 1 came out, and I think we were both like, oh, we maybe should watch this at some point. But again, never did it. And then I think we got put on the list during season 2. You know what I mean? I think that's when it was being promoted a lot again.
Yeah.
And that's when like, oh yeah, this is a thing that we should get into. And then that's when I think got added to the list, and it's only taken up until now for us to get around to it. But yeah, how many episodes of this did you watch, Nathan?
10. I watched 10 episodes.
That's fair, yeah. I think I got up to episode 20 in season 1.
Wow. Okay.
It's one of those ones where I think I put on, I think it was like Thursday or Friday night, and I was like, I'll see how many episodes I get through. I might like it, I might not, who knows. And then it's one of those ones where you could just keep on watching back to back, I feel, with it. Like, you could just leave it on, and you're like, okay, cool, I'll just watch the next one, and that was a good episode, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
And by the time you realize, you're like, oh shit, I'm 10 episodes down, or like maybe I should stop to that, and then you just watch about 10 more.
Honestly, if I didn't have some stuff to do, I probably would have watched more than 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I wanted to watch more. I just haven't gotten back round to it yet. But I do actually want to at least watch all of season 1.
Yeah. Before we get much into it, I guess, did you want to give a rundown of what Ranking of Kings is?
Yes, I shall do so. For those who don't know, Ranking of Kings, or Osama Ranking, written by Sosuke Toka, published in Manga Hack. I've never heard of Manga Hack.
No, I never heard.
But published May 20th, 2017 to present. Currently 18 volumes. Animated by Wit Studios. Season 1 aired October 15th, 2021 to March 25th, 2022. And Season 2 aired April 14th, 2023 to June 16th of 2023. Just to note, we only watched parts of Season 1, so don't expect too many heavy spoilers if you're like super caught up or want to catch up with Season 2. Before I say this, it's from Crunchyroll.
Okay.
So that's why it's gonna sound like one of those buzzwordy ones.
Nice. I love him. That's my favorite.
How prosperous your nation is, how many powerful warriors it boasts, and how heroic and strong its king is. These are the criteria that factor into the system known as the Ranking of Kings. The main character, Boji, was born the first prince of the kingdom ruled by King Bosu, who is ranked number 7. But Boji was born unable to hear and is so powerless that he can't even swing a sword. In consequence, his own retainers and the public look down upon him as completely unfit to be king. It is then that Boji finds his first friend, Kage, and Boji's life takes a dramatic turn. Thank you, Crunchyroll.
Thank you, Crunchyroll. very, very lovely description. Smashing it as always. Right, so I think first impressions of Ranking of Kings, I think it's like the second episode for me was like, I was like, geez, this is good. It was Kage's backstory
Yes.
that really got me like, shit, that hits you in the feels, man. That like episode, I think for me, the first 4 episodes, I was like, oh my god, there's so much like emotion in this.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There's so much there.
It's crazy how much emotion they
Mm,
have in it. And like you wouldn't expect it because like, you know, it's quite bright colors. It's
yeah.
like kind of almost feels a little like I want to say paintbrushy or like crayony kind of lines.
Yeah.
And like it's all like feels really lighthearted from the
Mm.
art style, but it really isn't.
No, it's like there's certain bits where you're like, geez, that's actually quite dark. Like you said, the art style is very cartoonish in a way.
Mm.
Like it doesn't feel like your typical anime, but like all the like bright colors, all that kind of stuff, it does like work really well for it. And then you got like some guy being cut down, and there's blood everywhere, and you're like, oh, geez, okay.
Yeah, right.
It really catches you off guard at some points, and you're like, okay, geez. And I think even like the reactions of some of the characters as well feel like it for me. It like sometimes when a character gets killed or is like maimed or something, you're like, oh, geez, okay. And then their reaction doesn't always play as deep as some anime to me. Like, you know, there's like sometimes there's the lines or like a lot of good line work that come through in anime.
Yeah, yeah.
And this one, it doesn't always have that. So, but even though that kind of line work isn't there, it still feels really effective in some characters' emotions and stuff. And I think when you see like Boji cry or anything like that, it's like, oh, okay, that's
Oh man, anytime Boji cried, that really hurt.
yeah,
That really got me because it's like Boji looks like such an innocent character
yeah.
that's always just trying to keep a brave face, you know, keep a smile going. And then when you see a character like that break down, you're like, oh man, that's so sad.
Because it's such a light-hearted character, and like he's always happy-go-lucky, basically, and then suddenly it's like, oh,
Yeah, he's just a cheerful little fella
exactly.
until he isn't, and then you feel bad.
There's so many characters in this as well that have like so much depth to them as well. You know what I mean? Like there's I think when you what's the queen's name? Queen Hilly? I can't. Yeah. I know it begins with a H.
I can't remember, but like the queen, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying because like the first time you see her, you feel like, dang, she's like so mean. You know, like
It's Hilling. Yeah, that's it. Hilling. Sorry, my bad.
Hilling. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, she's like on Boji's case.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just kind of like, why? And then you like watch a few more episodes and you see like she actually really cares for Boji.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, I see now that she's, you know, she's probably actually really doing this, like being super harsh on him to keep him safe
Yeah.
from the dangers of the world because she actually cares that much.
It's bad when you don't get that depth at all when you first see her.
No, you don't.
And you think, oh, this woman's just a horrible woman. Like,
yeah, right.
And then there's other characters as well that are like that kind of thing. You see him come through. I think what's his name? His Swordmaster. Again, I cannot remember his name.
Oh, I did. You know what? I didn't note down a bunch of these character names. I only noted down Boji and Kage.
Yeah. But like you know when I think it's when Boji goes on his travels.
Yeah.
And then like he's like it's almost I've got to look it up because it's gonna infuriate me if I don't realize it otherwise. Like he pushes him into like the pit of the underworld and stuff. Like that bit is just like for me that was like, whoa, okay, so that's a betrayal of like everything. Obviously Boji's absolutely upset, and Kage's there, and the relationship between Kage and Boji is just so freaking wholesome as well. I love it.
Oh, age-old question. Sub or dub?
I watched dub.
So did I.
And I know the exact reason why we're going to talk about this because
yeah.
Pro ZD is the voice of Kage.
yeah.
And it's like I think I knew that going into it regardless because I think I watched one of his like YouTube videos where he does his show reel and he like goes through all the characters he's voiced.
Oh, I think I remember reading it on Twitter like ages ago when season 1 came out and he was like, yeah, I voiced the character in this.
Yeah. It's a really big role for him as well. That's a really big role for him.
Yeah.
Love that for him.
I mean, like, it's, you know, it's like one of the main characters.
It is, yeah. It's like the secondary main, basically. So, like, yeah. It's just good to see the boy getting some recognition like that.
That was the only reason I picked up over Sub. It was just because I was like, Prosy D's the voice. I gotta do it.
Part of me, like, I most of the time I do watch dub for when we do these anime things anyway. But like, that was an added reason for me to watch the dub. 100%. Like, it was just like, yeah, I gotta. But like, what other? There's like so many other characters as well with it. What one that like always gets me is you know the two-headed or it's supposed to be three-headed snake
Yeah.
thing. Like that character to me, like I don't know how far you've gotten. Like whereabouts did you get up to? Because I don't want to give you spoilers when I'm running down the episodes that I've
So by episode 10, it's you know, do you remember the Snake Master Bebin?
Yes, yeah.
So the last thing I remember seeing of the three-headed snake and Bebin was like the three-headed snake is thanking Bebin,
Yeah.
and it's like they're at its nest and he's like, "Oh master, I can't begin to show you enough gratitude and thank you enough."
Mm-hmm.
It turns out, you know, the snake has saved Bebin from death.
Yes, yeah.
Because Bebin tried to take down the spear guy.
Apis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a whole list of characters up here now, so I'm gonna be like, yes.
Oh, wicked. Also, the absolute last thing, because I didn't actually finish all of episode 10. I think I made it halfway through the episode before I had to go do something.
Yeah.
Was the revelation to Hilling that it's Bosu who's king again, not their son, Daida.
Yes, yeah, because he's been weirdly reincarnated and that kind of thing. Or like, yeah.
Yeah, that in itself was also another layer that you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
It's so trippy because at that point, there's like, for me, watching episode 1 to roughly 20, there's a weird middle bit where I kind of tuned out a little bit. And I think it was around that area. And because I saw, like, obviously it all go down, and then the mirror, I don't know if you know the mirror's true identity yet. I can't remember. I don't know if you find out that far.
I think I might have seen it, but I might not have.
Yeah, I won't reveal, like, a name or anything like that right now then.
Cool.
But, like, there's a lot of that sort of stuff, and then there's, like, all the stuff, like, that comes through, and then there's also, where's Boji at where you are? Well, like, whereabouts? What's going on with him at the moment? Is he training? Is he?
Yeah, he's training with Chris Sabat.
Despa.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about though. When I say he's training with Chris Sabat, like
and that is the moment I heard the voice, I was like, this is someone I know. Who is it? It's like, okay, cool. It's Zoro from One Piece, Piccolo. It's
it's funny because like I think in a previous anime review you were like, oh yeah, you even called it out like, oh yeah, where's my Chris Sabat, like
he's there, he's always there,
because he's always there. And then when I heard that, I did laugh a little bit because I was like, there he is. The last thing I saw of Boji and sorry, what was Sabat's character's name again?
Oh, Despa.
It's that bar fight just after, and you see Boji with the rapier.
Okay, so he's just finished his training, basically.
Yeah. And Despa, like, because you know those guys that walk in, they cause trouble, and then he's like, "Oh, you don't need to draw your weapon." And then dude like draws his weapon, and then Despa's like, "Sir, are you turning this into a fight to the death? Are you willing to bet your life?" And the guy's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Boji, draw your weapon."
Yeah.
And then Boji like wrecks with the rapier.
Yeah. It's so cool to actually see Boji get like a tremendous buff as well. Like this little kid who basically is looked down upon by the whole like town and everyone around him, and then suddenly he's just become one of the strongest fucking characters in the whole thing. It's like it's mad how it switches like that. For me, that's the thing that's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere for me. It feels like quite whiplashy. I was like, whoa, shit, okay, he's suddenly super strong now.
Well, I mean, like they kind of show that like Boji is like weak in what that world's traditional sense is, you know, like
yeah,
big massive swords and just aggressive like sword fighting.
Yeah.
Whereas when you flip it on its head, Boji's good at dodging,
yes,
and being fast and smart about it. Because, like, believe it's still episode 1, right, where he does the sparring with Daida.
Yes, yeah.
And Daida's good in the traditional sense. Daida was good at, like, actual sword fighting, you know, like swinging and giving hits. Whereas, like, when he was fighting against Boji, Boji was like dodging and just getting the taps, like getting the
Yeah.
technical win, but everyone was like, oh, that's underhanded, Boji. That's not good. That's
Yeah.
not real fighting. And it's like to see that and then see Boji get the rapier and being like, oh, there's a weapon for him. Like they're always like, oh, he can't swing a sword, he's terrible. And it's like, yeah, well, because you're giving him like a fucking broadsword, you know, like you're giving him fucking a long sword and shit, like normal swords that are just like not for him. When he's got his rapier, you're like, all right, kid's gonna kill you now.
He's gonna do stuff. Yeah, he's gonna put in work. By any chance, did you get to the point where there's like those 6 convicts that have been released? We got to that point yet?
I don't remember that, so I probably haven't.
Okay, yeah. There's one character in there which I think is set up for like kind of like in some ways season 1's main villain, basically.
Oh, okay.
If it knows, and the reaction to like his reactions are so freaking creepy in it.
Oh,
And you know when you watch it and get to it, Nathan. But there's just like, you know, like we said, if this is very cartoonish at times, and you see those like simple kind of style, and then there's just this one fucking villain in it who is just like made of nightmares, basically. Like it's
interesting.
it's like he's got a mask on and everything like that, and it's like, jeez.
Interesting. Well, it's like you were saying before, is like some of this stuff is like really doesn't fit the art style
Yeah.
and like the art direction, because it's like the part that really got me where I was like, oh, jeez, was again that whole section of the ritual to bring Bosu back.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? They bring Daida in, and then there's those 2 guys. And you're like, whoa, they don't fit. They're creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
And then they bring him into the chamber, and then they're like, you know, oh, it's your father. He's been preserved for this ritual. And then they just start winding this fucking giant blender, and you're like,
It's like he can't comprehend what's going. I'm watching it happen, and I'm like, is this really what? Like they're literally grinding up like the guy, and then like all this guy, and everything's going down. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then they like mop up because he like Daida throws away the cup. He's like, I'm doing this for my own thing.
Yep.
And then they mop up the drink and then ring it back into the cup and then make it. And it's like
force him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. Like you just watch it and you're like, is this actually happening? Is this actually like?
Yeah, that whole part feels like a fever dream as well, because you know they're like, oh, it's the egg, and you're like, what? And then it's a phoenix, but then they shove it into a thing and cut his head off just so, and you the whole time it's just like, what the fuck is going on, man?
It makes it feel like a proper ritual, you know what I mean? And at some places would be like, oh, like it just be grinding the guy down and then pouring his blood and this thing comes out or whatever. But there's so many steps that they go through with it, and you're like, this actually feels like something's happened in real life that you just like kind of, okay, cool, we got to do this step, there's this step,
right?
Then there's a bird, cut the bird's head off, do this, do that, and then you're like, there's so much going on with this, like, and meanwhile, Daida's just watching it all as well. Like, it puts you in like the frame of like what Daida's at right now, because you don't know what the fuck is going on. Daida don't know what the fuck is going on, and you're like, what? Why is this all happening? What is this?
It's perfect because Daida's disgusted, and honestly, I'm disgusted. Yeah. It's like, what? I don't want to be here anymore.
There's so many freaking levels to that, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm just processing this.
Where you are, I don't need to know specifics, but have you found out any more about that demon that came out of Boss?
No.
Okay.
I like not so much really. I feel like maybe that's addressed more in season 2, maybe.
Probably.
But I know there's little hints and stuff like there's like it shows him every now and then, but you don't know exactly what's going down. You just know that the demon's there, but you don't know why it's there or where it came from or whatever. But like, yeah.
Because that was also just like felt like out of nowhere, you know, like oh, he died and Boji's been made the king.
Yeah.
And then they're all there, and then just this fucking thing comes out, and he also looks kind of creepy.
You know what? It's like, it's not even like that. It's like it's an unease. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't like, it's not necessarily scary. It's just like, you just get an unease. That thing just looks evil.
It does.
And it just gives you evil vibes. You feel like, if I saw that in real life, I would be shook. I'd be like, okay, that's fucked up. What the fuck is that? And it's like,
it's also the fact that the thing just kind of like doesn't do much, barely says anything, points,
Yeah.
and then points back at itself, and then laughs
Mm-hmm.
in a really creepy way, and then just disappears.
You know what kind of gives me? It gives me Persona vibes. I don't know what it is, but like
A little bit.
there's something that where it just like it's that laugh, it's the point, the laugh. It feels so ominous. Everything about it just feels like thou art.
I was gonna say,
I am-
Boji's gonna get a persona. I'm like, yeah.
It just becomes JoJo at that point. But yeah, it's I think what what the series is great at is like telling great stories and like developing its characters and just creating just a sense of unease like crazy. Like it's mad how well it does it.
Yeah.
Like you think, oh, this is just a fun, happy series. Meanwhile, like, at one point, like, I'm just watching this one dude. Like this is for everyone. I won't go into too much detail about it. But man gets like torn apart by basically like, a pack of beasts, and you're watching this. I was like, you're seeing his reaction to it as well. It's not like Attack on Titan levels where like they're kind of just munching on people or whatever. It's not that level, but it's like you're still watching it, and there's a sense of like when characters can't defeat someone, there's a level of helplessness there as well.
Yeah.
And you feel it. You're like, oh, geez, they come up against like an enemy which they can't defeat, and they're gonna get fucked to hell for it as well. There's no way of them defeating. It feels agonizing when a character loses. It's mad.
Makes it. I'm just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, I need to watch more. I need to go watch some more.
Like I said, I think during the Boji training bit, that's when for me it's the middle bit which I kind of fell out of it a little bit. I was like, okay, this isn't grabbing me as much as the first part did.
Yeah.
But I'm towards the end of season 1 now, and I feel proper grip to like, okay, I want to finish this season. I want to like see how this character gets defeated or like where this is going, because there's so many levels to like who is the evil one. Like there's so many fractions as well. Like between the kingdom, there's obviously characters are still getting like developed, and
yeah,
there's a sense of urgency, and you're like, there's so much going on, and it just makes you want to just keep watching it. That like it's really good with like building that suspense there.
Oh man. I feel like I'm definitely gonna go watch some more after we're done with the record, like for sure.
It's one of those ones that like you can see why it's getting the hype that it is, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Like
yeah,
it was definitely, I know for the two of us, whenever we get into something like this, something that like gets talked about a lot, there's always that like voice in the back of our heads that's like, oh, is this actually good though? Or is it just overhyped? Like, you know, are people just like blowing smoke out?
Yeah.
But like, this is genuinely like, no, this is good stuff, man. Like, this is really, really good anime.
It is a good though.
And I'm really glad we finally got around to watching it, because I feel like knowing what we know now, if we didn't, it feels like a regret.
Absolutely, yeah.
Feels like we'd be missing out on some good stuff.
I think it's a better late than never kind of scenario. Like it's a better late than never kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we are watching it. It just makes me feel like and because the manga is still going right now as well, it means we're not too late to it where we can just like kind of, oh shit, we've missed the trick. Basically, we've missed the boat. Like we're still very much okay. Catch up on this now. I think season 1 has 22, 23 episodes, maybe 24.
Okay.
And then season 2 has 12 episodes, I believe.
All right.
It feels like a shorter season, that one.
I wonder if that's because at the time maybe it was too caught up with the manga, potentially?
Possibly, yeah. How long has it been going for? So it's 2017 to...
Well, I mean, it's been going from 2017 to present, but it's only 18 volumes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, if they made the call to, like, do fewer episodes, because maybe they've burning through too much of the source material too quickly.
Maybe it depends on arcs as well. Like if an arc ends in a specific place, maybe they just need to tick off like the 12 so it covers this shorter arc.
Yeah.
Compared to the first bit where you're stretching out these episodes and stuff, like, or trying to get through a lot of it. So maybe it's that. I guess it's one of those ones where you just gotta keep like kind of watching and see where it goes. I'm sure there will be another season at some point. I feel like at this point it's got so much hype behind it. I feel like it should do.
I mean, I hope so. I'm not even finished season 1 yet, and I'm like, yeah, season 3 when?
Yeah, exactly. Is that exactly like? But like you, it's one of those ones like even just talking about it now. It's like I'm only a few episodes away from finishing it, and I probably would have finished it today if I didn't go out last night. I actually got up and I was like, really should finish watching Ranking of Kings, but I'm also very sleepy. So I watched like 2 episodes before. I mean, even then, I had lunch. Like I had an hour before the episode we due to record, and I was like, I could squeeze in a couple episodes here while I eat lunch. It's fine. And it's like, okay, so it got to about 20 past, because I usually record at 2, and it got to like 20 past 1. I'm like, an episode only takes like 20 minutes if I skip the opening and ending. So it's like, I can definitely fit this in.
I mean, like, you're already over assignment, though.
Oh, I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
don't have any limit on this, so as long as you watch one episode, we're good.
Yeah, I think like before we move on to this the opening and ending sort of talk, I will say that like I kind of started this earlier on in the week because I had a feeling that I probably would stay with this.
Okay.
Considering how much hype it went. I wanted to give myself the space to be like, if I do enjoy this, I kind of want to watch as much as I can if I am going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, when there's some animes, like for example, random anime reviews, like sometimes I'll be like, look, I don't expect much from this. I'll watch a couple episodes on like a Friday or Saturday night. And if I get into it, I get into it and I'll keep watching.
Yeah.
But at this point, I was like, I think it got to Thursday, Friday, and I was like, I'm going to start this now so I can actually get a few episodes in the bank. And if I like it, I can like keep talking about it for the episode. So I kind of anticipated this was going to be quite a good one, or just gave it the room for it to be for myself to watch those episodes.
Fair enough.
But yes, the openings and endings of this series. I didn't think too much of the end. Ending's like decent. This isn't the right song. It's like
yeah, ending's okay, but that opening song though, is pretty good.
Yeah. So funny enough, my friend sent me this song probably like when this anime launched.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, this song's pretty good. And I listened to it, I was like, hey, this song is pretty good. This sound. And then come down to watch it, I'm like, this is the song that my friend sent me like 2 years ago. And it's by King Nu, who is also the singer for JJK's third opening. Like, you know, no, second opening of season 2. So, you know, specials.
Yeah.
You are my special.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the same people that did that.
Oh. Wow. That is like wildly different.
They also did the JJK Zero main song as well, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably why, because like me and my friend were quite obsessed with like King Nu, like with some of his songs or their songs or whatever. At that point, it's like, oh, this song's good. I was like, hey, this song is good, and it's like, oh shit, it's
no, yeah, the opening. I found myself like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, okay, cool, it's a good song, but you skip it because you're like, I just want to get into the episode.
Yeah.
I just found myself sitting there listening to it every time because I was like, this is a really good song. It's just a very, very good, pleasant song.
It is. It feels like it has like happy vibes to it as well. It's like it's a little groovy little number, isn't it? Yeah.
It just fits. I feel like it sets the vibe for Boji, like as a character.
Yeah.
Rather than fitting like the vibe of the entire series, I feel like it just is Boji's vibe.
Yeah. It's like it gives that happy-go-lucky, like kind of sunshiny kind of like vibe to it. It's like, I think you haven't got through to the second opening yet, have you?
No, I haven't yet.
For me, I think the first opening is slightly better.
Mm-hmm.
The second opening is alright, but it hasn't like made me want to add it to our list, like, you know, the Cultured Boys playlist. Like, we added a whole bunch of those like songs there, and it's like this one hasn't quite got there for me.
See, I love that that's our gold standard now.
Yeah.
Is like, is it good enough to go on the playlist?
Yeah.
Because if it goes on the playlist, it's like, that's a banger.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get on the playlist, then you're like, it's all right.
Yeah. That's it. You know, like, it's one of those ones like, would I want to listen to this outside of watching this anime? And the answer for me was like, not particularly. So I was just like,
Fair.
But no, good opening. I think the second ending is quite decent as well. I think it's by an artist called Mile.
Okay.
Who's done a song with 1OK Rock at one point and Man with a Mission as well.
Oh.
She featured in Demon Slayer's third opening, I think it is, like for the Swordsmith Village. So another artist that is like quite like, oh, okay, there's quite a biggish artist and like really big in their own retrospect as well. So yeah, check those songs out as well. Yeah,
nice. Nice.
Really good openings as well. Like for a great series, like it's ticking a lot of boxes. It's ticking a lot of boxes. Let's say it that way.
Oh man.
Do you have like any characters which are like your favorite at the moment? Like considering episode 10, like
My favorite. I did kind of start leaning towards Dida for quite a while.
oh really?
Well, because doesn't start off well, right?
No, yeah.
To me, and it's like Dida comes across initially, and Game of Thrones fans will know as like a Joffrey.
Yeah, I get you completely. Yeah.
But then, like, as time goes on, the more he experiences stuff, like, and even all the way up until 10, I was like, actually, he's not a bad character, you know? Like, he does care for Boji and stuff. Like, yeah, I also, Chris Sabat, Despo was pretty good.
He is, yeah. He's got like really good comedy factor as well. Like the way he dresses is just like some of the ways is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
But then like
It's just like where he's like, yes, I trained kings and made the best of the best, and then it's like, but not without any money.
yeah. he's one of those you know when like a character has like a trope about him like this is just annoying as hell. Like I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
He's got like a bit of a trope to him where he's like, I want money and like I care about my appearance, it's my good looks.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come across as annoying because he is actually a valuable character in the series as well. You know that he has like a strong reputation with him.
Yeah.
And like he actually has the power to make people like actually do a good job in this. You're not being put off by, for fuck's sake, he's doing the like a beautiful trope or whatever. He's not doing this money trope. He's actually doing like he's actually a sick character that comes with it.
Well, you know, as long as he isn't doing a fucking blazing transfer students beautiful, like, it's fine. But like, yeah, I think Despo was probably also on my list. I mean, obviously Boji, but like,
yeah, Boji is like actually such a wholesome main character in general. So like again, like when I watch an anime, the main character is very rarely my favorite, but like the main character is very likable. And is like you want him to succeed, you just want him to
for sure. Like that's the thing. Like for me, I try not to, because I always end up liking the main character in a series. So that's why I'm like, lately I've been trying to like, let's get at that, because it's like obviously most people end up liking the main character because like
main character, like yeah,
that's what it is, isn't it? Right? But yeah, I've been trying to get away from that.
Yeah.
Not because it's invalid or anything, but you know, when it's just like, yeah, I mean that's the easy pick though, isn't it?
When they're fleshing out other characters in the series which have such great backstories and actually have so much depth, there's so many different characters you can actually be like, I actually quite like this one, especially in this series where there's a vast array of characters which all are like very different personalities as well.
Yeah. You know what? I also really like Hilling.
I tell you what,
the layers of Hilling, she's actually,
yeah.
And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, at the moment she's probably my favorite character actually.
One of the most like the best developed character in this series, I think. Like you intro to like don't like this character whatsoever. Like it feels up herself. But like every moment you see about Hilling just gets better and better.
Right.
Like including like the healing stuff where she's like like doing that, and then there's like all like the backstory of Hilling, like where like you see her with Boji a bit more, and it's like everything that builds up. You like this character is actually, and she like you haven't got to yet, but there's a point where she's like literally putting herself in the front line to help people, and you're like, this is the queen of a nation, and it's like this is actually like such a sick character.
Interesting, because last thing I saw of Hilling was like she was basically like leaving the castle.
Yeah,
or like that was kind of her decision. Like
yes, because it was like, oh yeah, you had to like kind of.
But like yeah, like everything with Hilling, like the backstory where she's like trying her hardest, like she meets Boji and she's like, oh, I'm gonna be your new mum.
Yeah.
And then she's trying so hard. She's like, you will love me, and not in a like evil way. She's like, she genuinely wants to be his mum, and like she genuinely wants his love. And like, so that was really wholesome.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. And it's like, you're right. She's just, the layers of this character, it's just too good.
I think that's even like, what's his face? With Bebin, you know, the snake guy.
Yeah.
You see him in the first couple episodes. That guy's a dickhead as well. Like, and you see all the snakes where they're like, kind of like,
Well, that's because he's the snake guy, innit?
Yeah.
Like, anytime you see a snake guy, like, I don't know, I guess Orochimaru, like, fucked it for everyone. Or, like,
yeah, yeah.
even Jafar, like, you know, where you see a snake guy, you're like, he's a wretch. He's gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah, and there's looks to it as well. You're like, this guy's an arsehole. And then Bebin comes through as like one of the sickest characters as well. Because like you think, oh, he's trapped Kage, he's gonna kill Kage or something, or he doesn't want Kage to be with Boji. But then he's the one that actually gives Kage the mission to protect Boji. And you're like, this is like, there's so many layers to all these characters.
It's crazy. The ones you think, at least so far, where I've gotten, the ones you think you hate are actually the good ones, and the ones you think you love are the ones that are going to betray you.
Yeah, and there's so what's his face earlier that I mentioned, I forgot his name, Domas, you know, the guy that pushed Boji into the fire pit, but he's only following orders.
Yeah, the sword master.
And like then you see layers to him as well.
Yeah.
And you were talking about favorite characters earlier. One of my characters, he's not exactly like the strongest or whatever, but he's there, and he's actually one of my favorites is Hokuto.
Is it the god?
Yeah, the guard, who's like, he's the only one that decides to go on.
Yeah.
And he's not in on the Boji like assassination plan or anything. He's just there to be like, I want to just support you, Boji. I'm here for you.
He's literally like Boji's hype man. That's all it is.
Doesn't have any like amazing powers. He's just a guard, but man, like, he's sick. I love him. He just feels like just a wholesome character. Just wants to do good, like, by his king, basically. And like, he's sound. I love it.
Yeah.
What was it? I know I mentioned before the three-headed snake, Mitsumata.
Yeah.
And I'm not like always like a massive fan of like, again, snakes is like, oh, a little bit of red flags here and there.
Yeah.
But like seeing Mitsumata from like the first episode where like Boji's talking to him and he's like, oh, you have to wait, Boji, go and this, do this. And, like, he's acting as a guiding thing. And then seeing Mitsumata just in action at all, like the way he protects people, like all that sort of thing. It's just so freaking cool. Like, and it comes to bits where like you see him, if he fights and gets injured or something, you're like, no, not Mitsumata. Like, he's so cool. Like, I didn't even know that was his name, by the way. I just looked it up right now.
I honestly didn't know it had a name.
Yeah. Again, I've got the character list up here, so I'm like, it's this person.
Bro, there's just so many likable characters.
There's so many, yeah.
It's just a great show. It's just a great show, man.
Like, shout out to like Kage as well. I feel like Kage, like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Kage, but it's also like it's hard to say this, right? Because even though ProZD does a great job, and I'm sure the Japanese VA also does like amazing work, where Kage is just like Boji's best friend. I know that Kage has the tragic backstory, but like Boji and Kage being like their MCs, it doesn't, I don't know, I don't feel as drawn to them this time around when you've got so many of these amazing side characters that are like getting built and like doing things and like getting developed, that it's kind of just like, yeah, you know, Boji and Kage are there.
That's the one thing with Kage, though, is because I feel like every character's getting buffs in this show. Kage feels like the only one that doesn't get anything.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like you do, like, I'm quite invested in their, like, Kage and Boji's relationship, because that's how it all starts, and it's like, oh, this is what.
Yeah.
And like you said, the backstory of Kage and obviously Boji's backstory, everything about it. But like, Kage does not get much at all, considering that I feel like I need to see him do a bit more, even in the like where I am right now. He does some things, but it doesn't feel like he's progressing as much as Boji did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's like, I'd like to see them like as a duo come together and be like,
kick ass.
But yeah.
Maybe in season 2, because like they make such a big deal that he's from the Shadow Clan.
Yeah.
This infamous clan of assassins. So maybe it's a season 2 thing. I don't know. I really hope so though, because like I agree with you. Kage needs to do more than just like be Boji's like safety net and best friend.
Yeah. It just needs like a bit more. Just push him a little bit more. Get him to do a bit of action. Because like you said, the Kage clan's supposed to be renowned and feared.
Yeah.
And then they were wiped out. But then, because you do see him do stuff in these early, like the fact he's able to sneak around and like he's able to throw that dagger at Bebin and like actually injure Bebin. And you're like, so do more. I wanted to see him do more. That actually like come through and use that stealth. And like again, we haven't finished the series. Maybe there's something more to it, but we haven't seen it yet.
Who knows? In season 2, Kage might get a whole training arc, for himself, and then he comes back. He's more ninja, more stealth assassin. Who knows? We're behind, so
Hopefully, like there's like I don't know, like something you can look more into, like his backstory of his clan as well, because obviously his whole clan was wiped out when he was a kid.
yeah.
Hopefully, maybe there's more that you can find from that. Like he goes more into his clan, maybe like or goes looking.
Who knows? I mean, like they were a clan of assassins, so I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't know, maybe there's some repository of information or something, where there's just like, I don't know, there's lots of documentation, lots of books or scrolls or something for him to find and discover.
Yeah.
Maybe learn some techniques or something. I don't know.
At this point as well, we actually don't know why they were wiped out. It's just like, oh, they're wiped out because they needed to be like they were used or something like that. Is what we've heard really.
They were loyal to a kingdom, and then they, from what I understand, they, quote unquote, tried to assassinate their king. But in the backstory, at least to me, seems more like the Light Clan tried to assassinate the king and blame it, and then they framed the Shadow Clan.
That's what it's kind of like framed as by the looks of it. So I reckon could be something like that. But again, we need to see more of it. Hopefully, I reckon there will be a lot more coming through that. One more thing I wanted to mention though is it's quite funny for me that right now the series is called Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
But in terms of the ranking and like how it gets judged and that kind of stuff, we've barely seen any of that in action. Like,
oh yeah, we saw right after Dido got made king, he like took some sort of test with that weird jester looking dude.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yes, you're like 90th now or something.
Yeah. And that's where like it kind of like fuels Dido to be like, okay, I gotta get stronger. Blah blah blah. And then you know like certain like ranks of certain characters, like Bois was
7th.
And then Despa's brother, who's his name? I can't remember now.
Des something else. Because they're both Des something, isn't it?
Desha is number 2. So we still haven't seen number 1. And we also saw that random king that was with Boji at one point.
Yes. Out in the wild, yeah.
Like you get a bit more. There's actually like a slight bit of backstory you get given about him a little bit further on in the series.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Tiny bit. So it's not a lot. But I want to know more about him though, because I want to know like what his.
Yeah, because that guy was weird. He was like friendly and like, yeah, teach. And then he was like, I'm kill you.
Yeah.
He just gave off this like really menacing aura, and you're like, oh, okay, whoa.
It's a look at the character as well, like where he just switches, has those twisted eyes, and like it's like whoa, like he just get like I don't know if you've ever felt it like when you watch like Samurai Jack or something. There'd always be this one character that just gets off like a one-off kind of story about them.
Yeah.
And you don't know anything about that. It gives like a really uneasy aura about that character. And that's what I got from that character.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like there's just a one moment. But we do get like, again, tiny bit of backstory about him.
Interesting.
I do want to know more. I want to know more about the world in general within Ranking of Kings. I want to know more about all the other kings that are about, all the other kingdoms and stuff. I want to know more there. Like,
right?
Jeez. Just it just feels like we're going to finish the episode and be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to watch more Ranking of Kings. Bye.
Yeah. So we should probably wrap it up then, because we both feels like we're chomping at the bit to go and watch some more. Is there anything else you want to say, Pepe? Anything else you want to say to the peepholes?
I think I've covered off a lot of stuff, and I think, like, honestly, if you haven't started this or whatever, and you've got this far, again, I say this after every episode when we do an anime review. I don't know how you've listened this far and haven't watched it, but like, honestly, I'm kind of glad that we started it like right now and didn't leave it till later. Like, and I can see the hype behind it, and it is a great show. So honestly, it deserves the hype that it's getting right now. So yeah. It's good. Watch it and continue watching it.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
Please go and watch Ranking of Kings. Like, I don't think you'll regret it, honestly. I really don't.
Absolutely not. Right. Okay, cool. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think of Ranking of Kings. Try and keep the spoilers to the minimum because we still need to watch it and finish it. But yes, let us know what you think about it. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Cultures Boys videos. Check the links in our description. We have our podcast platforms and our X there. And we will see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.